Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Back for another episode of If They Can Do It, I'm going to convince you that you can do it too, even though you probably can't. That way, we both feel better. If you like this kind of motivational content and you want to see more of it, you want more breakdowns, you want to see how actual cinematographers do things so that you can steal those ideas and do them better than they do, carve out a little niche for yourself, get a career, earn millions of dollars, and basically live out a fantasy life, guess what? Guess how you do it? Patreon in the link below. Every week we get feature film breakdowns, we get more podcasts, we talk about actual stuff as opposed to having fun here, talking about nonsense. Let's get into this commercial. Let's start with the good stuff here. You know, I don't want to get distracted, but that's me when I wake up in the morning. Every morning I wake up going, oh, I discovered the framework. Life is sweet. Turn the page of my book. Hello, wife. How are you? Good. I'm thinking about getting a chair built. Where should we get it from? How about the lady with the factory down the street? I need a projector, though, with a coffee machine. Actually, you know what's better than a coffee machine? A guitar. La guitarra. Can I get some flares? Yes, please. Can I get 4x3? You know I can. And can I get dude with the guitar? Oh, he's going to string it for us as well. This lady's happy with her choice. And that's how my living room came together. Side note, I actually had this table. This table was in my living room. That's how big of a tool I was. Then you have a child and you realize, child, toddler, like wandering around, glass table. This thing's actually not attached to the table. If you like this kind of architecture, what ends up happening? Child leans on table. Everything comes off the table. Disaster all around. You get blamed, right? Answer to child services. I wanted to have a fancy table in my living room. So children be damned. Anyway, this guy's making a macchiato. Yum. And smoochy time. Here we go. And we're out. Friends, everybody comes over. Except nobody invited the dude that made the guitar. What about the lady that made the chair? Nothing? Friends like these. Okay. And we're out. Now, I'm not going to bring up, you thought I was going to, I'm not going to say curtains and shears. I'm going to make an entire YouTube video one day without saying curtains and shears. But that's not today. I will say this, though. Like, how do you make something interesting? You remember, right? You don't just plonk. We've got, imagine the storyboard. We've got our final 4x3 wide shot, please. We need to see the guitar. Where is it? Nope, we don't need to see the guitar. We got to see our beautiful coffee thing here that we're going to light up from some rando light over here just so it gets some level on it. We need our little George Clooney espresso, this sunshade on during the day. We need that, right? So you would think, well, let's plonk the camera down and then we'll just show them our 2 stars and the drinks. No, boring. Boring, terrible choice. That's why you're watching YouTube videos. You need to make as much clutter in the frame as possible. Make me work for it. Don't just tell me. What do you think? I'm an infant? Don't just show me these people having a gay old time, a life that I could never achieve. I want to be, I want you to wow me. I want you to make me work for it. Make me think, maybe I could have this life. And then you start noticing everything like, wait, is that a $3,000 chair? And this rug from Persia, it's about 15 grand. These shears are about 40 grand each. Okay, I'm in trouble. $40,000 shears. Where are you buying those things? Anyway, let's go back to the beginning. What I actually wanted to talk about, which is this initial setup. Ooh, yeah, in the breeze. Soak it in, right? You can imagine the direction from off screen. Look more like you've shit your pants. Yeah, like, but you don't want to admit it. You don't want to admit it because it's a nice day. You don't want to move. Okay. And can we get more wind, please? Is the window open? What? Why are we blowing around? Anyway. Okay. So this is the setup that we talk about. Again, look at how they make you work for it. Like all this stuff in the foreground, make them work for it. Hey, that table's back. Interesting. So remember the framework? L of the room, which just means the corner of the room, but corner of the room sounds boring. So I decided to make it the L of the room. What does that give you? That means we can place our lamps out here in between all these breaks and we can just shine the light through. Shine the light through the windows without seeing the stands with the giant light on them. What does this mean is going to happen every single time that you do this, that we shoot into the shadow? Shadow side, light side, okay? That means we're instantly going to get contrast. But you say, there's no lights inside. Won't it be too much contrast, right? I put my 18Ks out there and now I'm blasting in way too much contrast. How could I possibly get a little bit more ambient in the space? Because I've hosed myself. You told me light from the outside. You told me shoot into the shadow, and you told me to shoot into the L of the room to get depth, because depth is really hard to do. Contrast is really hard to do. You know how you get this kind of contrast? With big lights. That's how you get it. That's why it's hard to do, because you don't have access to big lights, and neither do other people. This is not what your living room looks like. Or if it does, it looks like that for, 5 minutes a day? And that's essentially cinematography in the commercial space. In the commercial world, you walk into this location, and your number one job is, how do I make this spot look like it looks at the 1 minute per day that it looks its absolute best? If we could imagine the best case scenario in this joint that I would want to sit here for and actually go, wow, this place is really nice. If you don't have light streaming in here and there's light bouncing everywhere, it's kind of like, this apartment is, ugh, what are we doing? It's kind of a weird looking apartment. If you come in here and it looks like this, like some cathedral, you're like, oh my God, I could raise my children here. Look at all the fancy furniture. That's the job. You want to make it look awesome. So we're thinking about making it look awesome, right? It just turns out that the way to make something look awesome, it's the same every time. You want length, you want depth, you want angles, you want to bring light from the outside, you want to create, just like outside, how you backlight, to create light and dark. Just blur your eyes for a second when you look at the image. Go on, blur your eyes, right? Try to do it without having 16 shots. You blur your eyes and then you say, do I see light and dark? And the more light and dark I see, probably the more interesting it's going to be, because that is how we create shape in a two-dimensional medium like this. With contrast, light and dark. Pockets of light, pockets of dark, you're winning. Doesn't matter what you're shooting. Nobody cares. Oh, a little creep around. And this is the kind of looks that you get. If you know how to light a great scene, boom, you look over and all of a sudden the script supervisor's eyeing you up because the scene looks like this, right? And you're like, I just do what I do. I mean, I see this stuff in my head, and this is then I make the art. This is the exact same setup, by the way, right? Put stuff in the foreground, shoot on the long side with the window, with the light coming through the windows, right? This is why commercial cinematography, much easier than narrative cinematography. Narrative cinematography, we have to think about this shot, but then for 15 minutes of coverage, we have to work in here. We have to show somebody looking this way or somebody looking that way, and all of a sudden it's a nightmare. And you realize, wait a second, I'm not actually good at cinematography. I'm just good at montage ads. So, what's this? Don't you dare say it's the exact same setup in a different scenario. You couldn't build a career off the exact same lighting setup and same frame and same idea every single time. That couldn't possibly be the case, right? You want to know how you save the world here, sir? Turn off some of those pracks, right? Haven't you heard about global warming? Old mate painting it up there. Come on, with the stamp. Yes, please. Can I get a flare? Yep. Can I get some rotation? Yep. Boom. How much stuff do we have to look through? Okay. Now, this should also tell you the quality of your client, because if you shoot like this, guaranteed somebody is going to be, you're going to land here, and this is the first shot of the day. All right. Let's say we haven't done the other scenes. This is where we're landing first. We're doing the guitar guy, right? Which is really, if you look at the location with this overhang, chances are this is the same place that we had one of the other locations in, right? We're in some studio. We're putting a little overhang in here. We got a white wall, and then we just clutter the thing with junk. Helps to be on long lenses, right? Because less junk looks like more junk in the frame on a long lens. That compression is a production designer's best friend. Also cinematographers. If you've got terrible locations, longer lenses, better. Anyway, this is how you can tell the quality of your client, your agency, and your director. If you're in here and they're like, there's too much, like, why are we looking at these blue boxes? Like, why is he so small in the frame? You go, well, this is a coffee commercial. It's not a commercial about the guy that makes guitars. So we're setting a mood, a feeling. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Hopefully the answer is no, because you're in a foreign country and they don't speak English, right? That's how you know you've made it as a cinematographer. If the client and the agency speak the same language as you, you're not in the top 1%, people. I'm sorry, hate to break it to you. That's just life. Ooh, I like that shot. A little flare, a little haze. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty nice. Is there anything else to say? If you can't recognize that this is the exact same lighting setup over and over and over again, we've got problems. But that's what it is. Now, you may think to yourself, I really like cinematography because I get to go to all these places and I get to set up scenes like this and it's fun to create these stories. And then you realize, hold on, I'm just doing the same setup every single time on every single job. That might deter some of you. Others, like myself, I don't mind. It's fun. Get to do it every day. Problems to solve, different stuff to shoot, and you get to crack jokes all along the way while making just buckets of cash that you get home and you dump it on the family. You say, that one day that I watched that YouTube video, it's this bucket of cash just flowing down on all the crew, and everybody loves you. Pretty soon you get to spend your days making guitars and, coffee machines. That's life. Okay, if you like this stuff, you want to see more of it, this is the place to do it. Patreon. Yay! Many thanks. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.